Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and this is my channel Sandy's Happy Plants. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, welcome. So today I just wanted to make a quick little video on how I make my well-draining houseplant potting mix. And I also might want to repot this Monstera Adansonii that I have because I don't think it's doing too good. It's I don't know, there's something funky going on with it, so I'm gonna take it out of the pot and repot it into my freshly created well-draining potting mix, and I'll show you how to do that. So the reason I make my own well-draining potting mix is because most of the houseplant potting mixes that you can buy in stores are kind of not enough, there's not enough drainage in them. They kind of compact after a while, and they just get really hard, and the water just gets logged in there, and the water just doesn't drain out fast enough. So I researched it and came up with a little recipe for a really nice draining potting mix. So let's get right into it. So I hope you can hear me okay. I'm doing this outside because it's beautiful out, and it kind of makes a little bit of a mess mixing it, so I like to do it outside. Anyway, so I put on some gloves. You don't need to wear gloves, but I like to, just because I don't like getting all the stuff under my nails. So you'll need some sort of a container to mix your potting mix in. I'm just using my trusty old recycling bin here. Nothing fancy. So I'm just going to use that. And so then you're also going to need something to measure the parts of the potting mix, what you're going to add with. So I'm just using this old jar. Again, nothing fancy. I just kind of use what I have lying around. So that's what I'm going to use to measure. And so then the first thing you're going to need is what's called coco coir, or coco coir, spelled C-O-I-R, and it's a coconut husk. Basically, it's the outside of coconuts. So this is what this looks like. Don't breathe this in. It's kind of like fine and kind of flies all over the place, which is also why I'm doing it outside. So I'm gonna use that one part, and this is the kind I'm using, the coco coir, and I'll link it in the description so you can buy it if you want. And it comes like this. It comes in like a big brick. I kind of broke things off of this already. So it comes in bricks, and usually you want to wet it to make it expand, but I didn't want it to be wet so that I can measure it better. So I left it like I left it dry, and I just kind of crumbled it into a little container here. This is my Christmas cookie container. Like I said, I just use whatever I have lying around. Okay, so what you want to do is measure one part. And when I say part, it doesn't matter what kind of measuring container you're using. So you can use something smaller than this or something bigger than this. It's just so that the mix always stays the same. So when I say part, I mean one of these in my case. But if you're using something smaller or bigger, you just use one part or two parts, whatever you're using. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is use one part of this coco coir. So here we go. And I'm just gonna pour that in. See, it's very dusty. Okay, there you go. And so the next thing we're gonna use is, where do I have them? Ooh, yes. Oh, wait, no, here. Here they are. This is the good stuff. Worm castings. Ooh, yay, worm castings. You know what that is? It's basically earthworm poop. Yay, earthworm poop. Don't ask me how they get it. They procure it. I'm not really sure. It's kind of a interesting mental image. Anyways, so worm castings, I'll also link that in the description below. And so you want to do one part earthworm castings as well. This is really good stuff, really nutritious for plants. See, look at that. You can see that. Very nice. Now dump that in here as well. Yeah, I'll move the camera down a little bit so you can see it. There. Move it up so you can see me. Hi. Ooh, it's making quite a bit of a mess, but that's okay. So the next thing, this is also a little bit messy. The next thing we need is perlite. And we'll use, and you definitely don't want to inhale this stuff. So this, we'll use 2 parts perlite. Again, if you want to buy it, I'll link it in the description. Pour that in there. And to make it really nice and well draining, you want to use 2 parts because this stuff promotes well draining soil. It's very light and fluffy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to need is trusty orchid bark. And we're going to use 2 parts as well. Cat's meowing. She wants to come outside. But she's not allowed outside. So 2 parts orchid bark. That's what this looks like, by the way. Orchid bark. And the last thing we're going to use is horticultural charcoal. That's what that looks like. Okay. And we're going to use 1 part of this. And this just gives it a little bit more aeration. You also want to be careful with this one. It's very dusty. Okay, we're going to mix that in as well. Okay, now that we have all of our ingredients in the bin, we just mix it up. Okay, now that I mixed it really good, this is what it looks like. You can see it's very nice, very well draining, very light and fluffy and airy. Beautiful. Okay, now that I have my well draining mix ready, let's see what's going on with my Adansonii. So here it is. And you can kind of see that some of the leaves are kind of crinkly looking, and I don't know, they're kind of staying pretty small. So I'm gonna take it out of the pot and inspect the roots, see what's going on, and I'm gonna repot it into the nice draining mix that I just made. Let's angle the camera down so you can follow along. And I'm just using a plastic lid here so I don't make a huge mess. Okay, we'll take it out of the inner pot, or the outer pot. Okay. All right. So let's see. Looks like it's got some good roots going on down here. Nice fluffy white roots. That's a good sign. That's good look. But then there's also some kind of rotten looking roots here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Those black, yeah, see these black ones? They don't look good. That might be a little bit of root rot there. So let's get it out of the pot. So just gonna gently squeeze the pot from all sides. And then I'm just gonna gently try to lift it out while squeezing. There we go. Okay, put that away. Okay, let's see what's going on. Gonna gently just peel the old soil away from it. You can see that there's these slow release fertilizer pellets in here. Adansonii doesn't really need that. And it's really wet in there too. Just way too wet. Not compacted though, so that's good. But there's a little bit of root rot going on here. See, this one's coming right off. Okay. So I don't want to shock the root system too much, so I'm gonna just be very gentle. But I do want to see what's going on. I'm gonna separate them. I think there's like 4 plants in one pot together, so I'll very gently separate the roots. Okay, here's one. Doesn't look too bad. And they do have some nice roots on them as well, so I think they'll be okay. Here's another one. Oh, there's actually 5 plants in one pot. Nice. This one has some nice roots on it. Okay, not too much rot actually. But the soil is very moist. It's just an invitation for fungus gnats, so I'm gonna nip that in the bud. This one has a little bit of rot on it. Most of it is, I think most of it I got. See, look at this big clumpy wet soil. Way too much for Monstera. You want a well-draining soil. Or well-draining potting mix rather. Okay. So I'm just gonna chuck this, so I'll BRB. Okay, I'm back. So this was in a small pot like this. So I'm gonna upgrade it into just a slightly bigger pot. You never want to go too big on the pot right away. Only ever go like one size up. So this is just one size up from how it was. So I'm gonna put it in this pot, and always make sure there's lots of drainage, especially for Monsteras. Okay, so I'll take my little babies here. Okay, and I'll get some of the, if you want, you can put like a mesh on the bottom so that it doesn't, so that the mix doesn't fall out. I don't have a mesh right now, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of orchid bark on the bottom. So let's take a little bit of the orchid bark, whoops, and put it right in the bottom. That way the smaller stuff doesn't fall out through the holes. Okay. And then, like that. Okay, so take some of this nice mix that you made, that we made together. So fill the pot about halfway, about that. And then I'm just gonna stick the babies back in. And they don't look like They don't look like they have any bugs on them, so should be okay. So I'm just gonna plant them back in there. So just a pot halfway full, and then just place them in a nice way how you want it. I'm probably gonna eventually put a moss pole in the middle, so I'm gonna put them kind of more around the edges of the pot. Look at this, is an old pot from something I bought. What was it? Oh, it was a calathea. Look at that, $16.99 for a calathea, a small calathea here in Canada. Prices are outrageous. Oops. Okay. Just in order to make them stay in there, take a little bit of soil and kind of press it on, or potting mix rather. I keep calling it soil. It's technically not soil because it doesn't really have soil in it. It's kind of like a soil-less potting mix, I guess you can call it. Okay, once you have them all in there in the way that you're happy with, just fill the rest of the pot with a mixture. And you don't have to worry about pressing it down too hard. Just kind of get it into all the nooks and crannies. Make sure it's even. I think this guy's gonna really love this. Yeah, it's already looking better. Kind of give the pot a little bit of a tap down. And there we go. Freshly repotted in the nice, airy, well-draining potting mix that we made together. Doesn't it look good? Looks way better. I think it's going to be way happier in this. So then you want to give it a really good watering. So we'll do that. Show you. I'm just using I'm using filtered water, but you don't have to. So give it a good watering. I'm doing it outside, so I don't care if it pours out the bottom. But if you're doing it inside, just do it over a sink or a bathtub. Okay, give it a good water and let all the water drain out the bottom. And I'm gonna give it a little wash while we're at it. While I'm waiting for all the water to drain out. Give it a little bath. They like it. They're happy. Just like us, they like baths as well. Okay, and that looks like a happy little Monstera Adansonii. Okay, so once all the water has drained out the bottom, you can put it into a decorative pot. So I'll put that in there. There we go, beautiful. And then you just put it in a bright indirect light spot and it will be happy. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope you had fun. learning how to make the nice draining potting mix, and as well as repotting the Monstera Adansonii in it. And like always, if you have any questions or something to add, please leave it in the comments. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And enjoy your plants. Enjoy the summer. See you next time. Bye.